I have nothing good to say about this industry anymore. It's an absolute joke. Oh, crikey, Moses.
Say hello to the camera.
And then we can... Oh, shit happens. Do I need to say any more?
Today was definitely different anyway.
Yeah. Okay, I've been with Tom 2-3 days now, and I thought rather than doing one very long video, I thought we would actually do 2 videos. So this is the second video, and we're going off today to change a capacitor in a tumble dryer, which we looked at the other day. That turned up the next day, as Tom said, which was really impressive. It's amazing, you know, even in rural areas like this, he ordered the capacitors online the other day and they were here the next day. So I'm really, you know, praising that no end. Now, Tom, where are we going?
We're pretty local today. We have, it's about 5 or 6 miles.
Right.
Look at it's 6 or 7 miles, that's a stretch.
Okay.
I have a chap that has a deep freezer, and it's tripping.
Tripping
so,
the electricity.
Yeah, so look good.
So it's a high chance it's a compressor failure.
Probably a compressor, yeah.
Right.
Maybe a mouse got into it or something. And
well, I mean, in rural areas like this, should we say the little rodents could have gone in and...
well, it is in an outside...
A few moments later.
Shed, yeah, an outhouse, yeah, so you don't know what has happened there. But we'll get there anyway, and the second one, I'm supplying and want to fit an integrated dishwasher.
Right, so we just got to install an integrated dishwasher,
Yeah.
And we're also going to nip out to the tumble dryer.
If we have time, we'll go to the tumble dryer, yeah.
Well, I think I'll make time today. I mean, a lot of people would love to see not only what you do, but the area you do it in. Now, I've had some long discussions with Tom over a few beers, shall we say, in the evening. We went out to a very nice town last night and had fish and chips, and I had some scampi as well. Excellent meal, great quality, great atmosphere. And what was the town we went out to?
That was in Kilkee.
Kilkee?
Yep.
Okay, so very nice little harbour town with plenty of nightlife and plenty of good places to eat. Now, Tom, we've got to face some facts here. I'm going to word this in a way that I don't take it offensive, but you don't spring chicken anymore. What do you reckon you got? A couple of years left?
If I'm lucky.
Yeah? Now, what I did notice was in the pub when chatting to all your friends until late, shall we say, and I'm not going to say the time because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. The community is also concerned that once you hang your tools up and knock it on the head, who else is going to replace you in such a rural area? Have you got ideas about this, or you thinking of selling the business? What?
Well, I have a son-in-law he's into electronics and into irrigation and water pumps and all that. I've said to him, you any interest? None. So after that...
Yeah. So there's a huge, you know, Tom's details are not going to be hard to find, and I will put his business up on the screen and in the description for you. But for someone who is in an urbanized city, maybe wants a change of life, slowing down, working in the country, different type of lifestyle completely, it might be worth getting in touch with you, because, you know, this is a thriving opportunity for someone in a rural area like this. It's a different type of work as well.
Oh yeah, and it's easy going, you relax, and you can have if you're not going to be pushing it to get X amount of calls done, you can have a chat with your customer and get them on a good, friendly relationship.
I you know, I pay attention to detail when driving around, and every couple of minutes you're putting your hand up because just about everyone in the area bloody knows you. You know, this is a totally different world to the city appliance game or the UK appliance game. This is a community that, you know, appreciates having someone on their doorstep who's willing to go out, have a chin wag, and fix their appliances or solve their problems. And you know, this is where community really counts. People supporting local businesses and local businesses supporting the community. Okay, so we've come up to the fridge freezer job, and Tom said we were local. We've been driving about 15-20 minutes, so yeah, we're in the middle of the sticks. I have no idea where I am, and what really amazes me, I could not do this without having my Google Maps and people sending me pinpoints. You know, he knows every back street, every little lane and shortcuts, and yeah, anyone that's actually thinking of ever doing repairs up here will definitely have to be doing some pinpoints for people to find where these places are. Lovely bungalow in the middle of nowhere. So let's have a look what's wrong with this fridge freezer.
It's actually a chest. It's a chest freezer.
Chest freezer. Okay.
We got a little friend here. Say hello to the camera. Hmm? Yes. Huh? Oh, yes. What is it?
They were called the pulper. They were for cutting root. Beetroot, turnip and...
Oh, like a spud peeler, but for turnips?
Yeah, and for doing for the cattle, for the feed back 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So I said, bring it up, will I see, but I'd say I'll be the one doing something. See, the legs and all are gone off it, but as I said, I put.
But you could get
them, yeah.
No, you could make wooden legs for it.
They'll make them for me, Tom.
Yeah.
And you can also get some people to actually do cast welding and everything, because this is all made of cast.
Just see where is it made.
No,
It's not that
looking
old.
well. I'd say she's 7, 8 years old.
Maybe it could be pre-COVID. You know,
Pre-COVID. That's a word we'll be using forever in the depth of time. But you never see anyone anyway up here by the look of it. No, so it didn't make a lot of difference.
As I said, it's grand.
It's a bit of a squeeze in here.
Okay, work away. Call me if you want me.
Okay.
Okay.
Very difficult to film in here, Tom. What is that stick?
That's what's called a hurley.
A hurling stick.
A hurling stick, so...
Right. Okay. It's a version of hockey, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, we just propped it up on the wall because Tom doesn't like working down on his knees.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got an inverter board on there. Okay, this is one of the new compressors. It's a Nidec compressor, R600A, and I think it's got some type of inverter board, which we're going to have to whip off so we can do a test on the motor to see if it's going to earth, because this fridge freezer is tripping the electricity. Okay, I thought I'd quickly just zoom in on this because I've just opened up the actual outer casing, and we have a very small compressor for the size of fridge freezer that we got. There's no rodent in here, but there is signs of wear on the circuit board. And, you know, a lot of chest freezers are kept outside. Old chest freezers, sorry, or most fridge freezers would only have a starter relay and a capacitor for starting the motor. But modern technology is, you know, this is crazy. This is way overcomplicated just to start a simple motor to pump gas around the fridge freezer. This is a Whirlpool chest freezer, and if you look in the top left-hand corner, you can see a number. And I'm going to have to get some internet to actually find out about this board. But this is a 219620080, if my old eyes are working correctly. That has a very complex board, which could have got damp. It could have also just failed. There is signs of burning down on this heatsink here. You could also have one of the capacitors that are on the board failing, and also we have some type of transformer down the bottom as well. So I need to do a bit of research on this, but I'm suspecting my money is on the board failing, not the compressor. But I might be wrong, because these compressors are very small now compared to what they used to be. It could even be the compressor windings that are faulty. So we're going to test this in a second, and I'll let you know what the problem is. Okay, I just want to explain everything to you quickly. This has got an inverter board with capacitor and transformer on board, and this is one of the more modern compressors. Now, I'm going to bring a picture up on the circuit board to show you the water track damage that has occurred on the circuit board. Now, there's 2 chest freezers in this room from the 1980s, and they've got a lot of rust on the lids and cabinets, and that's because they're so old, but they're in a garage on the outside of the house. This fridge freezer is only approximately
5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years old. Now, as you can see on the circuit board, which I'll put up here, there is water tracking damage on the circuit board. Now, that means it could have had a short on the circuit board, which was causing the electrical problem where it was tripping the RCD in the house. But I've actually cleaned this off now and sprayed it with some contact remover, and we've cleaned up the circuit board to remove any moisture off it. Now, this tripped the electricity about 7 or 8 weeks ago, and the lady has only got Tom out recently to have a look at it. 7, 8 weeks ago, it was very moist and damp here in Ireland, and there was a lot of humidity and the temperature was a lot colder. And because there is heat coming from the circuit board, when it actually cools down and it's not running, maybe it's at temperature, this would attract condensation. And this condensation could have caused the problem with the compressor. Anyway, we've got the compressor connected back up now, and I've got all this open, and we're going to plug the compressor in. We've done an ohms reading on the compressor to see if there's any leakage to earth with the multimeter. Tom hasn't got his mega with him at the moment, so we can't actually test the for insulation faults, but we can just plug the thing in. And because it's a modern circuit board, it will take a second or two to start, so I'll plug it in. You should hear the compressor come on in a second. There it is. And the compressor is now running. This is the ludicrousy of modern appliances today. Not many people have a fridge or chest freezer in their house. So it might be in a garage, a shed. This is a damp environment because it's dry in here. It's a perfectly dry garage. It's a great garage. But the high humidity levels and cold weather that occurs in here may have caused problems with the circuit board. And I'm going to take my microphone off so you can hear the motor running. And we'll leave that 10-15 minutes to make sure that it's creating a little bit of ice on the inside. But predominantly, all this complicated, Tom's phone's going off, that's another call for later most probably. This is just proving that modern electronics today are causing more problems than beneficial ones. Yes, this motor does use less energy than the old motors, but it's causing obsolescence in the machine via design. And you know, I just had a quick look how much this new circuit board is going to cost for this, and according to what I can see, the circuit board retail is going to be in excess of £130–140, and that's without labour and fitting. But we might have got away with this. Now what we're going to have to tell the lady is to possibly put a dehumidifier in here, but that means more energy that's going to be used for the type of environment that these chest freezers live in. It's, you know, I have nothing good to say about this industry anymore. It's an absolute joke. Anyway, let's leave it run for 10-15 minutes, have a look if it's creating ice, and then we can
There goes the circuit board again. I hope that came out on camera, because that was just proving that the board has still got some dampness in it, and the board has just fried. You know, it's dampness, and this is the problem. So we're going to have to either get a new circuit board for this compressor, or Tom is going to have to cut the compressor out and possibly put an older type compressor in, because it's more suited to this environment. And we'll have to let the lady make a decision. But this is a 5-year-old appliance, which is now having to have a lot of money spent on it. Okay, I just thought I'd quickly show you these before we go. The lady's most probably made a decision to put an old type compressor on this, because it's more suited to this environment, rather than spending it's going to cost her over £200, including labour, for the circuit board and coming out here to do the job. And Tom might have a second-hand compressor, old type, which he's able to put on. But, you know, this fridge freezer over here is a Powerpoint. That's most probably a supermarket brand, and that's still going. And this one over here, which must be, oh crikey Moses, Domotec. Domotec was actually an exhibition that they used to have in Berlin in Germany, but you can tell from the rust on the lid what the moisture levels are like in here. These type of fridge freezers have been going for the last 30 to 40 years. This compressor and fridge freezer has been going 5 years. Do I need to say any more? Okay, let's have a discussion on this. Now, Tom, you haven't actually seen that circuit board on the modern ones?
No, that's my first one.
That's your first one. Now, you know, as when I was speaking to the lady who didn't want to be directly on camera, a lot of these Irish lasses are camera shy, shall we say, but we had a good chin wag. And this garage that she's got is, you've got to imagine the Irish weather. In the winter, it is very damp, very humid, and moisture collects in the air, and the garage is a damp place because it's not insulated or anything else. And this is one of the problems. Most people do not have chest freezers in the house because it takes up too much real estate. The other fridge freezers that she's got there, Tom, I would be pretty much saying 1980.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they've been going over 40 years with no problems whatsoever in that environment. These modern fridge freezers today, that's we worked it out, it's a 5-6-year-old fridge freezer.
Deep freezer.
Deep freezer, sorry. And, you know, the circuit board has gone. You know, it was... The compressor metered out okay, so I don't think there's any problem with the compressor. But we rang up Tom's supplier that we spoke to the other day when we ordered the tumble dryer capacitor. That's where we're going now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or are we going to the dishwasher?
No, we'll maybe fit the dishwasher.
Right, fit the dishwasher. So anyway, going back to the subject. These, you know, I understand the fact that the manufacturer made a more efficient fridge freezer when it comes to the insulation and the motor power. The inverter motors do use less electricity. But when they're going into the bin, you know, that fridge freezer with a new board is going to cost in excess of your labour and time coming out here twice.
I don't even know what the price of the board would be.
Well, no, the board, I've got an idea. It's going to be about £130 to £150, and that will be the cost of the board. Yeah, and that should be the retail price. I can't, you know, I haven't spoken to your supplier over here, but I know in the UK that circuit board will cost the end user somewhere in the region of 150. Then you've got your time coming out here on 2 calls. Yeah?
Yep.
And this was directly from your house, how long?
What are we, 25, 30 minutes? Well, 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
25 minutes. So you've got to be charging about £100 labour for the two occasions coming out. So we're into £250.
Plus the fact that I have to, I have to gas it, I have to use...
no, that's if you change the compressor.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about if you just
board.
replace the circuit board.
Yeah.
So we could replace the circuit board and it's going to cost the lady £250. euro, sorry, let's get correct for where I am. Tom would be able to put a old compressor on, which is a good strong Danfoss compressor or something, with a relay, regassing it and everything for about the same money, would you say?
Even less.
Less?
Yeah, because look, if I have a second-hand compressor, it doesn't cost me anything really. So,
Right, well, you're the guy that likes doing refrigeration. I know a lot of engineers will be laughing at this statement because time is money in the UK, much more than it is here. Yeah? But the point of this is, how come they've got 2 fridge freezers that have lasted in excess of 40 years each, but yet a modern appliance today is only lasting 5-6 years in the same room? And it was moisture that has been causing the problem. And even if it was in a very dry environment, I'm 99% sure that the compressor and the circuit board that is on that machine is not going to last as long as the old compressors, and that's just because of the quality in materials today. I did notice on the freezer, by the way, it didn't have an NTC sensor thermostat. It had a conventional, either a VT whatever, Ranco thermostat, or it had a Danfoss thermostat. We didn't take it apart to have a look what was in there. But the fact of the matter being is, you know, this is just another case. And, you know, this has been worth all my time coming out with these repairs with Tom, just to prove a fact of how crazy the world has become. I'm not, you know, none of the manufacturers even realise that most of the Irish community would, and the English community, would have a big 14 cube chest freezer, roughly,
yeah, about
14 to 16 cubic foot chest freezer out in the house. They would always have it in a garage or out room, and this means it is normally in a reasonably damp environment during the winter. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. So, we're going to be driving now for another 20 minutes or so.
No, about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and we're going to install a new dishwasher.
A new integrated dishwasher.
New integrated dishwasher. So, we'll try and get some film footage of that one when we get there.
Okay, here at the lady's house, and I'm just working with Tom, and I just want to show you all. She'd ordered a new dishwasher. And of course, the dishwasher here in Ireland is approximately how much, Tom?
Well, integrated.
Integrated.
We call it for round figures, 600.
600. And, you know, the dishwasher is in reasonable condition. And of course, because of the island here, which has been put in without thought to replacing appliances, but that's another story. The dishwasher has basically, we've had to disassemble the front because we were going to drag it out. But I said to Tom, wait, because I was suspecting that the door lock could be faulty because the machine was illuminating on the panel here at the top, which is down here now on the floor. This was all illuminating, but the dishwasher was not starting. So I said, well, look, just before we go ripping it out, let's have a quick look. Now, here is a common fault. The actual wiring loom runs down to the front of the dishwasher, but over the last 15, 16 years, as you open and shut the door, metal fatigue takes place in the bottom wires. And lo and behold, we have a broken wire, which you can see here. So the lady is going to be buying me a drink, paying Tom, and this means I'm going to have to stay in the pub another night, most probably. But I think we can fix this for a very small fee. I brought the camera down so you can see. We've peeled back the insulation here, and you see that we have a bare wire that's snapped and the wire here. And once we join these up and put the machine back together, it'll work perfectly. I don't even need to double check it. It's a common problem that occurs. Now, rather than joining the two wires, a lot of people will just join this with a connector, and that's not correct. What you need to do is put an additional piece of wire, inspect the other wires for any metal fatigue whatsoever, but this is the higher ampage wire, and just by joining a piece of wire to that one, making sure it's fully insulated, the lady may even get another 17 years of use. Okay, just need to, we've checked the door lock's perfect, continuity going across it. So I just need to get this panel back on. No, Tom, you won't be able to squeeze through there with the camera. As long as I can get 1 or 2 screws in, we'll be fine. So you've had this dishwasher how long?
17 years.
17.
This month, actually.
Yeah.
31st July.
And it was washing well beforehand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've saved you a small fortune. Because I'm that confident, I will say it now before I even switch it on. Lo and behold, I most probably will get tarnished for that and it won't work. But I'm pretty confident in what we're doing here. We might need to go to the van and get some other screws, because I have noticed some of the screws on the original framework have pulled out of the woodwork holding the door on properly. But I'll address that in a minute. Rather than giving you a long, boring video, we just need to see that the thing springs into life. And salvaging another machine from the graveyards that society has today. So, let me just hold that. Select the program and 10 seconds normally. And there you go, it's filling. So we'll just let it fill with water, and then a couple of seconds later, if I remember the programming sequence on this correctly, it will fill, and then we'll hear the main motor come in with the distribution arm. So there we go. Literally 20 pence in materials and another dishwasher kept from the landfill. And Tom now has a dishwasher that he doesn't need. So sorry for fixing it, Tom. But the lady is exceedingly happy. Well, we got here at 12 o'clock and it's now 7 o'clock. And guess what? We've had to install the new Bosch. The reason being is the pump on the other dishwasher looks like it's seized because the machine hadn't been used for a few months. The original fault was the broken wire, but the ladies just decided to bite the bullet because it was 17 years old. So we've gone ahead and replaced the dishwasher. But if it was fixed at the time, then we wouldn't have had the pump problem, and that broken wire would have fixed the machine. But there we go. Shit happens, as they say. Okay, we've just left the customer's house. We've been in there since approximately 12 o'clock until 7 o'clock in the evening. I was trying to be generous to the customer because I spotted the simplest fault ever, which is a common problem. And you've seen that before, haven't you, Tom? Basically, what happens on the wires that run down through the dishwasher from the control panel to the pump, to the actual base of the machine, the wires had metal fatigue, and this is a common problem. What I didn't know when I decided to help the lady out and save her some money, that the machine had been stood for a good couple of months. And what has happened is the machine filled with water, it circulated the water, but it would not empty. And the problem was the pump is completely and utterly seized and is just not turning. And the lady, after about 20 minutes of us doing the repair, realised how much corrosion was on the machine as well from underneath, and decided she'd prefer to have the new machine. The new machine is a good machine. It's got eco and all the energy ratings, everything else, but it's a much more modern machine, and I couldn't guarantee her in any way, shape or form, and nor can Tom, that it's going to last 17 years again. But shit happens. We did our best to save someone some money, but it bit me in the bum, as they say. But your opinion on the job, Tom?
I get the odd one.
Yeah?
There's always one that'll get you.
Yeah, well...
No, it's one problem after the next.
Yeah, so anyway, we did our best. We haven't been able to go to the tumble dryer and change the capacitor, and I'm not staying as a full-time apprentice to Tom, so I am going to try and get up north over the next day or so and get up to Barry, but it's been an interesting couple of days. Yeah, what can you say? Shit happens. But
today was definitely different anyway.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was just nice driving, round the repairs, having a chin wag. Today, even the lady fed me salmon and sweet potato chips and broccoli and carrots, and it was absolutely lovely. We have been there that long. But anyway, it happens, I suppose.
Now and again, yeah.
Now Tom's going to get in trouble with his wife, and I'm going to have a jar. So catch you all on the next one. Okay, and there we go. I'm going to do some other videos of the snippets, the actual videos I didn't use in the feature-length video of going out with Tom for a couple of days. I would like to thank the people here at the fishing hut. They have put me up in their pub car park, and my liver is trying to drag me down the road at the moment to get away from here. It's been a stunning place, a stunning experience dealing with Tom, who is 76 and still on the tools. And the one thing, as there's no one about at the moment to overhear this conversation, I want to explain to you. When I've been having conversations in the pub with the local people, he's a legend. He is a person that is respected by the community. They appreciate what he does, keeping the appliances going. And, you know, it's just where local business is part of a community, and it's brilliant to see. More people and more places should exist like this. Anyway, I'm going to just quickly scan you over the water before I say what I always say. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and you can always support the website by clicking on the Bipolar Beer page, and I'm going to have to change that because I tell you, I can't drink any more Guinness if I tried. Anyway, thank you to everyone for watching, and I've really enjoyed myself. Now I'm going to spend a couple of days in the most remote places I can possibly find that have got no pubs anywhere near them, and I'm heading up to Donegal. And we're going to take the coast road, but I'm going to have to catch up on some time, so I might need to miss some bits and pieces out. Thanks very much for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.